right, everybody, welcome back to yet another unnamed podcast. We're getting a little bit closer to being a real podcast at this point. But, we're staying pretty consistent with the schedule, and I'm pretty proud of that. So, I mean, the name will come later. We're working on it. We're getting better. Anyway, we liked the format kind of last week of the splitting into 5-minute segments of being an expert for 5 minutes, and we already picked out the topics, who's going to pretend to be the expert for 5 minutes, and who's going to be doing the questions. I'm actually the first expert, and I believe Fuzz is the second one. Blace has my topic, right?
Yes.
All right, Blace. Let me get a timer set up. We haven't changed anything yet. We're still going to go for 5 minutes because that's what I've got. Unless we want to go down to 4 minutes, but
What? I can't remember. Was I asking you the questions, or is
you give me the topic? You're gonna. So you did hopefully some modicum of research on this topic. So you give me the topic, and then Zach and Fuzz will ask me questions, and then you let me know how close I got. And then for Fuzz's segment, Zach will give Fuzz the topic, and Blace, you and I will give Fuzz questions, and Zach will let him know how close he got. So, go ahead and give me my topic.
All right. So tonight you are an expert on minerals, specifically coming tonight.
What?
The mineral coming tonight?
Yes.
Excellent. I have
provide
obviously no idea what that is.
You're the foremost expert on this.
But for the next 5 minutes,
I hope you have a good idea what it is.
Well, starting in the next 5 seconds, I will be the foremost authority on coming tonight. So, 3, 2. All right, gentlemen. What would you like to know?
So, what is coming tonight?
Good question.
It's a mineral found deep in the Earth's crust that you can get. And it's really used for an abundance of things, mostly used in like makeup or cosmetic products.
Okay. Is coming tonight something you have to drill for, or how do they get to that?
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to drill deep, like real deep, to get to the coming tonight, because it's under like a limestone layer in the Earth's crust, which I mean I'm obviously an expert in coming tonight. I'm an expert on the Earth's crust as well. It's pretty deep. You've got to go at least a mile down in the Earth's crust before you can start to mine it. Almost said farm it.
This isn't Minecraft.
Sometimes it is.
So, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Fuzz.
What's the scale and value of coming tonight? Like, is it bought by the pound or by the ounce?
Oh, it's definitely bought by the kilogram.
Okay. And how much per kilogram market value these days?
So 1 kilogram of coming tonight is like, I was gonna say a gold piece, but this is not Dungeons and Dragons or a video game. I mean, 1 kilogram is 75 cents ish per kilogram.
Wow.
Kilogram?
Very cheap.
This is a useless metal.
Yeah, I mean, it's really only used in makeups, and it's really not even that great.
Not a metal, it's a mineral, Marie.
Sorry, mineral. I meant mineral. So I mean, the real secret here is that they just kind of add it to the makeup. It doesn't really. They market it as like a skin purifier, like it makes your skin look younger. It really doesn't. It really doesn't do that. It really doesn't do that.
And are there any other uses for coming tonight?
I mean, it depends on how inventive you want to get, right? Like, you could definitely like shower it on someone as a joke, like sand or something. So you could like potentially blind someone with it.
You could blind someone with coming tonight?
Yeah, as like a defensive mechanism. You can get some of the powder and then throw it in someone's face. Maybe get it in their eyes a little bit.
Interesting.
And potentially blind them. Other than that, it has very market value is kind of low, so you could sell it, but it's kind of saturated, and there are better options than coming tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Any questions, Zach?
Where is the most common place to find coming tonight? Like, is there a certain country that we go to where they dig for this, or?
Texas. It's a lot of drilling in Texas. A little bit offshores in Miami. A little bit of offshore drilling off the coast of Miami. Mostly Africa, though. The big reserves, the big drilling operations are in Africa.
I see.
Yes.
This is when was this discovered? Because you would think it being so plentiful, we would have heard about it before now. This is my first time hearing about coming tonight.
Well, to be frank, it's kind of a newer discovery, and it's one of those discoveries. It's like, hey, we found a thing, but it's not like super useful. Honestly, like you could kind of say it's like a byproduct of like grinding or sifting through limestone. So it's really not that old. In the last 50 to 60 years, have we discovered coming tonight and some possible uses for it, but it's really makeup products is all it's used in. It's really not that notable. So honestly, I had to hold another job while being an expert of coming tonight. Being a professional, being an expert doesn't pay that well. So it's a little, it's a little hard. It's a little hard out here for a coming tonight professional authority, for an authority on coming tonight. All right, thank God my 5 minutes are up. Woo!
Yeah.
That was. Thank you, Blaze. Thank you for that.
Wait, I already have the research for Blaze. He made it up.
Oh man, no, I'm sure he didn't, and I avoided so many of your mom jokes because they're just plentiful. Anyway, go ahead, Blaze.
I put it in the chat.
You put it in the chat.
Well, tell us a little bit about it, because our podcast people can't see.
Yeah, people on the podcast can't.
Okay, so coming tonight is it was discovered in 1824 in Cummington, Massachusetts. But I will give you a point, and it's also found in South Africa.
Oh, I got it.
It's absolutely not used in makeup because it's a well, I don't actually. I don't.
It's got magnesium in it. Yeah.
Pyrotechnics.
Kill some people.
Magnesium, iron, silica hydroxide. Sounds like it would be awful to put on your face.
Noticeably, if you look at the amosite, amosite is asbestos.
Oh, okay.
So it's like in the asbestos.
That's good for the skin.
Family.
Really good for the skin.
It's really good for the skin and the lungs. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Do I lose a point for saying it's makeup, or do I just get the point?
No, you get 1 point for getting South Africa.
Hell yeah. Let me see if I can add a point.
So what is this actually used in?
I think it has there's a couple of variations of it where it's just like a rock, and then there's some where it's like fibrous, and it by fibrous I mean it's like these little sharp rock needles that look kind of like a hair or a fiber on a cloth.
Okay, so apparently, literally, its uses for asbestos. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah, it's an insulator.
Nice.
Okay, well, we had discussed doing the second segment at the end of the podcast. If you want to go ahead and jump into the second segment, we can do that now.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, we can go ahead and do the second.
Okay, so
Second one.
we'll give Fuzz the floor. Here, he will be our resident expert. Zach, what is his I actually know what his is, but go ahead.
How could you
So-
know? Okay.
Fuzz is the foremost expert on anal fistulas.
Interesting.
For the record, I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Blaze, do you have any idea?
Yes, I know what it is.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Excellent.
I don't want to talk about it.
Excellent. Well,
What a
Fuzz,
terrible subject.
Fuzz, you got 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1. You're on the clock, sir.
Just to clarify, did you say fistula?
Fistula, yeah.
Yeah.
Fistula?
Fistula.
Okay.
Anal fistula.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got
Well,
Go ahead,
So
Blaze.
Fuzzy, how did you come about being an expert in anal fistulas?
well, there are a lot of different kinds of fistulas, but the reason that I'm an expert of anal fistulas is because, well, I was originally a doctor of the anus, and that's how I became an expert of anal fistulas. You have to specialize in everything. That's how you make money these days, and fistulas seem to be a real problem, actually.
True.
And so I'm here to take care of that for them.
Well, how do you fix or repair or ease one of these anal fistulas?
There's a lot of different methods that you can use to do that. There are creams, obviously, that you would be self-applied. There are pills that you can take, but they're not all that useful. And in my case, usually when I get involved, it's because there has to be surgery done as a major intervention, because these things are just nasty and they will kill you if you let them be unchecked.
Sound nasty.
They bleed through your anus. So
Oh.
yeah. So if you would like stool mixed with blood and vice versa,
Wow. Who does?
right, and then
Yeah.
you can contaminate your bloodstream, and
Yeah.
it's all over from there. So
Man, then I mean, does it spread? Am I at risk of getting fistulas from someone else or something that I touch?
the only known cases of anal fistula spreading is anus to anus contact. So you want to avoid that. Obviously, there's not a large percentage of the population who engage in those types of activities. So most of us are safe from transmission. However, you really do want to take care in those situations.
We're
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
So
Some sort of protective layer if you're going anus to anus.
you got to do something.
Okay.
We talk about protection, and I don't think there's really anything developed for this type of protection, although a colleague and I have been working, and we might have something to present to the FDA for approval here in the next few years.
Oh, okay, exciting. Blaze, do you have any more questions?
Let's see. We covered some good stuff. What's does this also affect hairy anuses?
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether the anus is hairy or free of hair, as it were. Fistulas can still develop. Hairs obviously complicate things, and if we're going to go in for a surgery, we're going to have to remove those hairs, which is thankfully something the nurses does. But yeah, it's not really an effect on the outcome.
Can it be spread through animals?
Ooh, that's a good
Well,
question.
it could. I would say that the relative occurrences of animal anus to anus contact or animal anus to human anus contact is abysmally low. So, but yes, it could be spread that way.
What about through children? Is it possible that a child gets this? I mean, we're talking babies, toddlers. Is it possible that they get fistulas And if so, is there a different treatment?
It's possible, though I've never known any cases of transmission, but it's possible they could develop this condition, and treatments are largely the same. The one thing with children is it usually it's hard to catch it early on, so usually when it's caught, it's much more advanced.
Early detection warning. So is this? You only got a couple seconds left. I'm just gonna end it off with this. Should I be going to the doctor regularly to be checking for fistulas, or is this something I can check on my own?
This is definitely something that you can check on your own. And you might actually already be familiar with this procedure, just because it's so popular among certain groups of people.
I'm feeling targeted right now. Please proceed.
Yeah. So there's actually, if you go to analfistula.com, there's a website that is great information on the procedures that are performed for this checking. Now, you can have it done professionally. Most people tend to avoid that because it's embarrassing and they can pay for it. They don't want to have to pay for it when they can do it on their own at home. But certainly, if you do check and you have concerns, my advice would be to go to a professional immediately and get this checked out, because it really could be a big issue.
Well, thank you, expert Fuzz, on your expertise on fistulas, anal fistulas, to be specific. Zach, how close did you get?
He said they were very common. They're very uncommon. Very uncommon. Like, fewer than like 200,000 cases in a year, which is, in the medical field, that's very uncommon. So, I wanted to have y'all ask a couple questions, like, what is it? But, it's okay. He was kind of close. There is bleeding. That is true. You cannot check it yourself because it's on the inside of your
Anus.
sphincter.
Okay.
So, yeah, the anus itself. So it's on the inside, and it's an infection. It's an abnormal tunnel that attaches from the glands in between your skin, and it gets infected, and it causes just an absolute god awful smell. The reason this was on my mind this week is I have a patient that had it, and it was something, and I wanted y'all to know about it. So.
Oh, you spread the pain. I appreciate that.
So they they're something I never want to know something I never really thought I needed to know, but I did.
So then, are we giving Fuzz a point or no?
I give him a point for saying that one of the ways to check is if you have blood in your stool, but that's could be a lot of things. But that would be the only point he would get. He was pretty far off in a lot of ways. The anus to anus contact, that's not a way you get it. It's just, unfortunately, it's genetics.
Unfortunate.
Really? Okay. I find it a hard time believing that experts are not up on anus to anus contact.
Not a thing. So,
right.
Like, the biggest way that you can get it is a recurrent anal abscess. So.
That sounds just awful. A recurrent anal abscess just sounds
as awful as you think it sounds.
Yeah, that's just. Alright, we're gonna need to shift topics to something that's not.
Yeah. Such uplifting expertise this Friday.
Coming tonight in anal fistulas.
Side by side. Alright, at the end we will re-roll for who's got the topic next week, who's going to be the expert next week.
I feel like we should just switch. So
you just want to
so me and Blace next week are the experts, and
okay.
You can do mine and Fuzz do Blace's, or so forth and so on. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
okay with that. Then we will. I will.
That way, someone doesn't get it back to back.
then I will think of a topic. Fuzz and I will come up with something to discuss for you guys.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I had to mute my mic because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. Dude,
Like,
it's so
I muted
hard.
myself and I could not help it. Like, I
No,
was
you gotta leave the
dying.
laughter in, dude. You gotta leave it in. It makes it genuine.
I didn't want to
Why?
interrupt our foremost
Why?
expert on anal fistulas.
Ryan, when you asked about the children, that caught me off guard.
Dude, I was like, why would you ask that? We have to put this where people can hear it.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes. Yes.
You want to get defunded, deplatformed?
Absolutely. I want to be deplatformed before we even get on the platform. I don't even want to make it to the stairs. We'll see it.
So,
I
I kind of would like to start a new segment and have like game reviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think that would be pretty fun.
It's gonna be heated.
So Call of Duty.
Well, we can start with that one.
The cause of anal fistulas.
Like the cause of anal fistulas for sure.
I give it 3 anal fistulas out of 5.
Out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was gonna give it like 2.5, maybe 3 for
I
the
haven't
zombies.
played the campaign yet, but I heard the campaign's really fun. I really enjoy the zombies. The multiplayer is just the worst.
They just dropped
Just the
an update.
worst.
Yeah, they
So,
just nerfed everything in the game. So
Except the MP5, actually. They accidentally rebuffed it to back to where it was before they nerfed it the other day. Just so you know, Ryan.
nice. So we'll avoid that for the next couple days while they once again patch the game. At this point, it seems like they're just making the MP5 broken on purpose.
Yeah, it honestly does. So, realistically, for those listening, this is kind of a symptom of them running out of ideas, it feels like. Call of Duty is just, they don't know what to do with it. And
Really?
they don't remember how to balance guns and weapons anymore. Like, I don't know how it's gotten worse over the years, but it just is not, they don't feel balanced. Everything feels bad. Like, everything feels like it just super insta-kills you. I don't know if that's a factor of me living in Hawaii and being a second behind everything, or any other number of combinations, but my realistic rating right now for Call of Duty would be a 6 out of 10. Like, legitimately not that fun a game, would not really recommend it to friends. In fact, I told one of my friends to not get it because he was contemplating getting it, and I was like, you should probably just not. I don't know how long we'll be playing it, so.
As long as they keep the zombies.
Ryan, Blace, I know y'all have also played it. I don't know if you've seen Ryan play it at all, Fuzz, but
as long as they keep the zombies coming, I'll play it. Because right now that's all I do. I don't really do the multiplayer. It's so infuriating, and some of the maps are just so garbage. Or so
I didn't
trash.
even talk about that. Just 8 maps at launch. 8 maps. I think Black Ops 2 came with 16. So
the maps aren't that bad. It's just the dying instantly, and you can't like get from cover to cover, and it creates a lot of problems.
We'll see what your opinion is after this gigantic nerf patch, because I don't know if you saw the patch notes, Blaze, but you're not going to be happy with a lot of what's in there.
I think it'll take them like 3 months to like get everything kind of sorted out.
I think once again my biggest gripe was that like from launch the game was just not complete. Like as far as the multiplayer goes, as far as zombies go, yes, those were done. But as far as like being able to play and play on the servers, like we still can't play with Zac right now in multiplayer. If we wanted to party up with Zac and play multiplayer, we can, because he's got a PS5 and Blaze and I have a PS4. It will not let us play together, and that's
it's
like
a little frustrating.
It's super frustrating, and you can't tell me that the game was designed to launch on the PS5 and they hadn't product tested this. They wanted crossplay, and we have crossplay. We can't play with our buddy on the PS5. I bet if he had a PS4, it'd be fine.
Have we tested it since they did that like PlayStation update?
I don't.
I tested it with Logan and James. We had to do some backwoods stuff. We finally got it working but it takes like just enough time for me to not even like it just takes it out of me. I don't want to play because I have to close my app, open it back up again, unfriend you, close the app again, open it back up, friend you again, and if that didn't work, go through it all again and again and again until it works. Very frustrating.
Way to go, Treyarch. Way to go.
Well, technically Treyarch only did the the campaign and zombies, I think. The multiplayer is from, or not from. I'm
It's
thinking
Raven.
about
It's Raven. You're thinking about
I'm
Demon
thinking of
Souls.
Demon Souls. Um,
It's Raven.
the multiplayer is Raven, yeah, Raven Software.
But Treyarch is still ultimately responsible for like the game itself, so connection and stuff. Like I don't know if Raven would be exclusively responsible for connectivity.
No, but they're the ones
issues
that
with
keep
PS5.
buffing the freaking MP5.
Well,
It's Activision trying to streamline things, and to a degree I understand because like back when Black Ops was COD $60 when Black Ops 2 came out. I think it was,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And for $60, they're having to put a lot more effort into the graphics and you know that costs money too. And they're trying to stretch
It's-
out that.
I was gonna say it's 70 on PS5, so not that that $10 makes that
Yeah.
big a difference, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, in the end, as far as gaming as a whole goes, like we're just gonna have to see where everything goes because the model of releasing full games
they forgot to do that.
it's over. The years where you could go into Blockbuster or you could go into GameFly and you could get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Underground, and you would have the game, and then there's nothing wrong with the game. It works fine. It ships out with bugs. Cool, but like that's it. You don't get any balance patches or anything. You don't get stuff later. You don't get DLCs. The time of that is over, and now it's the time for we have to meet deadlines. We can fix stuff later, and that's just
Specifically for multiplayer-based games, I think. I don't know
well,
how
yeah,
much that'll.
I would agree with you because like the single player games have been pretty complete.
Like Spider-Man Miles Morales and Demon Souls and like the single
Well,
player games that launched on PS5 they're great actually. Like Demon Souls feels as hard or harder than I remember it feeling the first time playing it on PS3 years ago. And it's just as brutal and amazing as it was back then.
I want to see Cyberpunk on PS5.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be
If they ever release that
2077. Yeah, it'll be 2077 before we ever see that game. So
When was how far did they push it back?
I don't remember. It was supposed to launch this week or last week, and then they moved it back.
I was gonna say original launch was like last year sometime, and then they moved it to like this April, and they're like, oh, we need to push it back again.
That game got announced in 2011 alongside the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah, so this game has been through the ringer. Through the ringer. Fuzz, do you have anything you want to talk about? I know you don't have a whole lot to add to the gaming subject.
Sure. If you want to go in a different direction,
Yeah, we shift.
shift gears. Where do we go when we die?
Whoa! Straight from COD guns being dumb to where do you go when you die? I love it.
The big oof.
How do we want to handle this? Who wants to go first? We'll do it. I guess you've been thinking on it, Fuzz. If you want to go ahead and give us your opinion, and then we'll maybe go around.
Let me go last.
Okay. Well then.
Existential dread. That's the topic.
Okay, existential dread. I'm down. How do you want to do this, Blaze? Do you want to go first, and then I'll go, and then Zach goes, and then Fuzz goes?
My body is going in a hole in the ground. I hope.
Or you'll be cremated.
I'd rather go in a hole in the ground and become a tree than food for the fishes.
I guess you could only hope a fish would eat your ashes.
I didn't know where you were going with the A there, so that was the better choice.
Better hope a fish will eat your ashes. Your ash. Is that it? You just go in a hole in the ground, or you go in a pot?
Just
I don't know. They could if they cremate you and turn you into ashes, they can put you in stuff. Like
Yeah.
it could put me in a tire compound and they could be turned into a burnout.
wow.
Yeah.
So is that your life's goal, to be turned into a burnout?
I mean,
Blaze wants to
It
be
wouldn't-
cremated into a tire.
it wouldn't be
Mhm.
the worst thing to happen.
I mean, you'll be dead, so at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well have fun, you know. Have some kids and leave the will that way, and you're like, all right, kids, be sure to have some fun with my body after I'm dead.
Just make it cool.
These are the specs. This is the tire pressure I'm shooting for. This is the
Don't
size
put me
tire.
on-
This is the ideal model car.
Just don't put my body on fucking TikTok.
All
Well,
right,
hopefully TikTok will die before you do, Bliss.
goals.
Goals.
Outlive TikTok. Yeah, we survived. We survived Vine, so it's
And MySpace.
and MySpace.
Oh,
Rip
that's-
MySpace. You guys
that
know
was a
MySpace
lot.
is still a real thing.
Yes.
It's a hub for musicians now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I thought you were going to say something more nefarious than that.
No, it's not that kind of hub. So as far as where I think I'm going when I die, or what I think what happens when I die, I think my brain is split on this. I have two conflicting thoughts. So on one hand, I want to wake up like in a simulation, like it's the Matrix, and then kind of go from there, kind of feel out what that world is like. All right, so you've woken up. Let's see what the product is of having watched you survive this simulation, or have you finish out the simulation. And it's like, okay, do I grow up and am I just in another simulation there, or are they like harvesting my brain for things? What's going on there? I would like to see that. And on the other hand, I think I would like to see some form of reincarnation, right? I'd like to see some form of like, all right, boom, I'm a badger now. And it's like, okay, I just do badger things. Maybe you work your way back up to being a person.
I see. A merit-based. So what does a badger do to become a person?
I don't know. According to karma, you basically just do badger things.
Oh.
See,
Okay.
I don't. In like the line of karma, I'm not sure where animals can really mess up, or if it's like you live your life out as an animal, and then once that life is over, you get another shot at being a human, and then if you're bad at being a human again, you just get jettisoned back as another lesser animal. I'm not sure, like, depending on how good you were or how bad you were based on your karma, I'm not sure where in the animal kingdom you end up, or how you would work your way back up, or if it's just like a loading screen. You're just in a queue. You're an animal until there's another human spot opened up, and you're just like 8 millionth in line. You just gotta wait.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed on a reincarnation. I think that would be one of the more positive outcomes of there being life after death, is just you return to the earth. You're like, your spirit or your energy returns to the earth, and now you're an animal, and that's probably just going to end up on nature as metal.
Not like finding out that you're in a computer simulation.
Yeah, well, that one could go either way, right? You end up in a
Depends on if
simulation.
you got.
Yeah.
Depends on how many views you got.
I guess. We're in the future where the Matrix is just everybody's a streamer. They just plug you in. As soon as your views run out, they unplug you, and then they just harvest your organs.
That sounds really awesome.
Ryan, we both died already.
Right?
There you go.
All right, Zach.
I am a Christian, and I believe that after we die, there's a waiting place, and then at the end of time, there is gonna be a judgment. So it's kind of what I think about that.
What do you do
Okay.
in
Kind
the
of the
waiting?
boring answer, but
What do you do in the waiting place?
You wait.
You're asleep.
Is it like in church when like it's over, but you can't go home because you have to talk to everybody on the way out? Is it?
Professional streamer didn't mute his phone. Who the hell is
Wow.
calling me at 6:30 at night? Anyway.
Wow. Huh.
That was good. That was good, Blaze. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's
You're welcome. It's my only contribution.
that's your monument. Now I will always think about Blaze when leaving church.
When you think about the space in between life and death, and you think about purgatory, think of Blaze.
Yes. Well, I also am a believer in the afterlife and a Christian. I don't believe in purgatory, though. I think when you die, you go to sleep, basically, as the Bible would say, the Judeo-Christian Bible, that you are asleep in Christ, or rather, not in Christ if you're not Christian. But that there's a heaven and that there's a hell, and that's we're going one of those two places after the judgment day. So that's what I believe.
I don't want to stay on this for too long, but I do have a question.
Okay.
Now, as far as heaven and hell goes, lake of fire in hell, yay or nay? Because like
it's not a good place.
no, I know it's not. I know it's not a good place, but I'm thinking like on personalized hell, or it's just a big old burning pit of sulfur. I know there's a little bit of contention there as to whether or not it's literally a lake of burning sulfur and fire versus like just being the absolute furthest away from God you could be, and that by itself is its own hell. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I think. I think both of those could be valid. It could be both at the same time. I don't know. I definitely think that God is just, and so the people who are in hell are going to be actively punished, rather than whatever that looks like for them. Who knows? I don't know that it's going to be a homogenous punishment, as it were. It might be somewhat personalized. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. The
Probably.
Bible does say it's a burning lake of fire, so
Yeah.
I mean,
I would
probably
agree.
like
Go ahead.
probably personalized a little bit more, like worst fears, just in everything that you just don't want or hate, or all the bad things that you've done, just kind of
Now,
brought out.
is this you hoping, or is this you speculating?
Oh, speculating.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Blaze is a known masochist, so you never know.
It's true.
It's canon now.
It's a place where you go and magic is actually balanced. Sorry, Blaze.
That was
Blaze's
love.
own personal hell.
Okay, what would your own personal hell be then? It's specialized for you. You're in a room. It's like an 8x8 room. What's in the room? 8x8x8, or unless you're claustrophobic, maybe a little smaller.
I gotta think about this one a second.
All right. I guess I'll go first since I posed the question. I mean, I've thought about this kind of thing before, like what would my own personal hell be, and it's a toss up, right? I mean, I'm not a big fan of pain, so like basically anything that includes large amounts of pain or things like burning would be not great. I think I have like this morbid fear of being eaten alive, so I think that would definitely be on the menu. So something like zombies or something like someone like just splitting me open and just ripping my organs out would be kind of rough.
It'd be unfortunate.
I mean, it would. I mean, being in hell by itself would be unfortunate for sure. But I think that would be on the list.
Like That's kind of like the usual hell, like the burning alive,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
flaying, the castration, like massive anal fistulas, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Running rampant in hell.
yeah.
Lots of anal fistulas. I mean, that
But
would probably work on me, like most people, right? Like,
but like on top of that, there's probably like a spiritual pain or like an emotional oof constantly.
it's just a hot girl in the corner constantly just not giving you anything that you want. She's just telling you all the bad things about yourself, and you're just like, yeah.
I don't know. I tend to think the human's mind is resilient. You might actually adjust to that after a while.
Well, that was my thought, right? Like, my brain is so incapable of comprehending eternity. I'm just like, there's no way there's anything they could do to me I wouldn't eventually just stop caring about.
If they got you in the emotions, though.
Yeah,
eventually,
but then I guess, yeah, if they just broke you emotionally, then they just don't have to do anything to you physically anymore, and you just walk around as a husk of yourself. Maybe that's hell. Sweet, I'm going to heaven then, because I live that now. That's in the Bible too, right? You live your life in hell on earth, you go to heaven, right? That's
I don't think it's
you do your time here. No. Oh, well. It's been a while since I've brushed up on my gospel. Zach, what do you got?
For that, my own personal hell?
Yeah.
I don't know. Country music playing rampantly.
AP5s everywhere.
And I'm imagining somebody trapped in hell just constantly listening.
I already live in my own
music.
personal hell. Tennessee hasn't been relevant since I was born.
Ooh.
And then they emerge from hell having conquered it wearing like cowboy outfits.
The Tennessee team is in constant repeat of getting just destroyed by every other single team in the history of teams. And they're playing country music while they get destroyed. That sounds just horrific to me.
There's a place where you can go in the southern U.S. where that exists.
Yeah, it's called Knoxville, Tennessee. It currently happens right now. I told you I live in my own personal hell already.
So Zach 2 has a free pass into heaven, as according to my own lore that I just made up. Fuzz, what do you got?
Yeah, I think that maybe you were closer to it, and maybe Blaze was closer to it earlier. I think it's an emotional thing. I mean, obviously, I do believe that there's going to be a lake of fire, but it's a personal hell. Like, obviously, a deep separation from God and from that which you know that you could have had and is right, and knowing that you knowingly missed the boat for all eternity, right? That would be pretty crazy, along with obviously physical punishment, because it's just not. It's not for me. I'm really the white guy, and I don't do well. I have an okay pain tolerance, but once you start talking about stripping the flesh and stuff like that, nah, it's not really for me.
Yeah,
does it grow back?
I don't know. It has to. It's eternity, right?
Yeah, so yeah, at some point you're like, well, there's just nothing left of you, right? They just strip everything away and there's nothing left.
My spirit flesh, no.
I mean, somewhat recently, not that I have a deep curiosity about these things, but I have seen like ways that we used to kill people.
Oh God!
Like the Iron Bull being one of them, and just keep thinking about stuff like that. Like the ways that we used to just murder people. Like I'm hoping they're bad people, but we've killed a lot of people who probably just didn't deserve it because they weren't like us, and just really horrific ways. And like the Iron Bull comes to mind, and that's just awful. Like at least being burned to the stake, you usually suffocate.
Is that the one
first.
where they put you on it and you just stay on it till you split in half?
They put you in it, so they put you in an Iron Bull, and they light a fire under the bull, and it cooks you alive.
From the nether region.
Yeah, well, like they tie you up and then they throw you inside this Iron Bull, and basically it heats the bull up so much that it becomes sweltering, and like so first thing to go is obviously your skin blisters and starts to melt before you like just die of dehydration. or you have a stroke or something.
Asphyxiation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's so many ways that you could die. Apparently, your skin melting off is not one of them.
That doesn't
No,
actually
You tend to
happen. That's
die of
like
many
a
other
anime
things
thing.
before your skin melting off kills you.
It's like acid stuff do that.
Yeah, it's rough. Like even burning people at the stake and crosses and stuff. Those are really bad ways to die. But we've had like
The
Zach
cross
said, like the
is
pyramid.
a bad way to die.
The cross is a bad way to die. The pyramid that splits you down the middle. What was the one where they tie you to the horses?
I don't know what they call it.
I'm not super well versed on torture methods.
The one where they drag you through the streets until your body falls
No,
apart.
they tie you to 2 separate horses and they rip you in half.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one.
Sometimes it's 4 horses. They one for each limb, and then they just hit them all at the same time. And like
That sounds horrifically bad.
Oh,
yeah, because guess what? That doesn't kill you. Guess what? If you can go into shock, that won't kill you. You bleed to death.
There was one I remember hearing about in like England. They used to do this. Prisoners that were sentenced to death, they would have to fight a bear. Yeah, like the bear
I'd
was
fight a
chained to a post and the person was chained to a post, and they had to fight the bear.
I just
And
fight a bear.
whoever kills gets to walk free. The bear or you. It's
No.
your choice.
They probably just lance you. You beat the bear, you just catch a javelin to the back. You're just done. Like, now we have to go find another bear. I don't know. I don't know,
That would suck to beat the bear.
yeah. Long
Yeah,
story
like,
short,
nope.
humans
Your
are
punishment was to die, so you must still die even though you beat the bear.
we are especially adept at punishing and killing people we really want dead. But so that took a really weird turn there at the end of the podcast because we definitely didn't start with this kind of grim.
I don't know.
Grim atmosphere. I think it's fun. It's still fun. It's all part of it. Anybody got anything else, or you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Anal fistulas.
I want to keep going back to anal fistulas.
They're with us forever.
Yep, they are.
Never forget. Fistulas 2020.
Fistulas 2020. You got my vote. All right, well, if nobody has anything else, then we'll go ahead and call it here. It's been about 45-ish minutes. It's pretty fun, guys. It's pretty good. Next week, Zach and Blace will be our experts. Fuzz and I will come up with topics in the meantime. And, of course, we'll let you know. 6 o'clock Fridays. I'll be back Friday, but I don't know if any of us will really care. If any of you aren't going to be here, go ahead and speak your piece. Fuzz, are you going to be in town, or are you going to be in Louisiana?
I'm going to be in Louisiana. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Okay, so Fuzz may not be here. We may get a guest.
Safe?
We may get Seth. And if that's the case, we may have Seth. I'll text you guys later, and we may have Seth be the expert because I think that's hilarious.
Hey.
So if one of you doesn't want to do it, we'll talk about it. Either way, if you're seeing this before Thanksgiving, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and be safe out there. It's kind of crazy right now. I'm Neoloaf. Find me at Neoloaf TV or at YouTube now at youtube.com/Neoloaf.
I'm Zach. You can find me at Zaslayergaming on twitch.tv.
I'm Buzzy, and you can find me under the rock with Blaze.
Yeah.
One of these days, we'll get them a Twitter or something. All right, guys. Thanks for watching or listening.